Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Fall is almost here. The weather is cooling a little bit, and you know what? Apple nut bread is calling my name, and so we're going to make some today. So let me tell you what we're going to put in it. 1 stick of butter, and I've let this sit out so that it will be soft and we can work with it easily. 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of water. So that's one part of the recipe. Next, we're going to mix together 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I sifted this and then I measured. So sift your flour and then measure it unless the recipe says differently. To the flour, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to re-sift this all together, combining it. Next, we'll add 1 cup of chopped pecans and 1 apple. And I'm going to leave the peel on this. I'm going to dice it up in real tiny pieces, and I'll be back and we'll make it together. The first thing that we want to do is to cream together our butter and our sugar. When you're creaming butter and sugar, you need to do it for several minutes, and when it's fully creamed, it will sort of change colors and be a lighter color. Now that we have our sugar and our butter creamed, we're going to add our eggs and mix those really well. I'm going to turn the mixer up just a little bit. And remember, we're adding 2 eggs. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of water. And 1 teaspoon vanilla. We'll rake our batter down, our mixture down, making sure that it's all mixed together. This is so simple, it's so quick and so easy. Now we're going to set that aside. Remember, I told you that we're using 2 cups of flour, and I re-sifted it when I added in the baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So now I'm just going to add my pecans to the flour, and I'm going to add our chopped apples, and I left the peel on it. So we're just going to mix all of this together and kind of coat the pecans and the apples. That's our goal. This helps to keep the apple and the pecans from settling in the bottom of your apple nut loaf, or nut bread, whichever you want to call it. Okay, so we have that done. Now we're just going to add this to our batter, and we're going to fold this in. You remember the folding method or the process or the technique? You just go down and under and over. So we're going to fold this in. We're now ready to place our mixture in a loaf pan. This is a 9x5 loaf pan, and I have lined it with parchment paper. I like to do that. You could grease it if you wanted to. So I'm just going to dip the batter. Now this is thick, but it's supposed to be thick. Let me just get it to where I can work with it. So we're just placing it in our loaf pan. I have preheated our oven to 325 degrees, and we will bake it for 1 hour, and we'll check it, and then when it's done, we'll come back and we'll enjoy some delicious apple nut bread. Just spread it out evenly so that it'll bake evenly. Fill your corners, that's real important. And you can see the little red apple right there. This is gonna be so, so delicious. Can't wait. Okay, we're going in the oven. Our apple nut bread is ready to come out of the oven. Look how beautiful that is. I'm going to take it out, put it on a cooling rack, and when it gets cool, I'll come back and we'll cut and try a piece. After our apple nut bread came out of the oven and it was cooling, I decided to add a little glaze. So I just mixed 1 cup of powdered sugar, and with 1 tablespoon of water, you could use milk if you wanted to, and just drizzled it over the nut bread. So now I'm going to cut a piece. This is still warm, but I want to see how it cuts. Oh my goodness, look at that. Let me put it on a plate. Look at that, and I want to show you. You know, I tell you that when you flour your nuts and your apples, that it'll help it to be evenly distributed throughout the nut bread, apple nut bread. So now we're going to taste it. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Don't forget to jump over to YouTube and subscribe to our new channel, Home with the Halsteads, if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, jump over and follow us on Facebook. So you have 2 options. Now let's try this wonderful apple nut bread. I know it's going to be so, so delicious. Look at that. I can't wait to try it. It's going to be good. It's still warm. I love the drizzle on it. It would be wonderful without it, but it's wonderful with it. Have a blessed day. I'll see you again really, really soon.